Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Monday or Sunday, whenever you're listening. Um, this humidity is really, it's a lot, but we're getting through it. We're enjoying the sunshine. We're enjoying the summertime. So we're going to just focus on the positive. But I will admit, I'm a little crusty today. I'm feeling, I got an allergy thing happening. Um, and it is fitting for the theme of today's show. We're going to be talking about our main topic is disappointments and lessons in life. That's part of the whole soul's journey is about growing and expansion, but we'll get to that. So first, usually we do a shiny crystal, but I'm doing a crusty crystal today because I really got a little twisted this week. So I had my dentist appointment. I found a new dentist. I'm not mentioning their name because I'm not like that. I'm not trying to put anyone on blast. But I went to a new dentist and I scour through reviews whenever I go to any kind of doctor or something that's really serious. And I found the dentist that had all these amazing reviews. And when I say I scour, I'll read like at least 50 to 100 reviews. And I'll compare and go to other dentists in the area and I'll look there as well. This person had 5 stars, literally, all over. The hygienists were great, this, that, the other thing, everything. So I'm like, this is amazing. And I even paid the full price. So usually like in dentists that I have, my LA dentist, you know what? Actually, she's my shiny crystal. My LA dentist, I think her Dr. Chang or Chung, she was incredible. She's a Virgo. She just was detailed. I've had a root canal by her and the touch of an angel, just so detailed with her work. Dr. Chung, she just was incredible. Love her. The whole team. Love her Virgo steadiness, her attention to detail, her eye. I trusted her so much. I love oral hygiene. I floss every night. I brush 2 or 3 times a day. I just am very into it. Oh, by the way, if you're looking for a great toothpaste, the Arm & Hammer Extreme Whitening, so good. I don't know if you could see my teeth, but I love a clean mouth. I love going to bed and just feeling the clean teeth. I love it. Like I've been obsessed with oral hygiene for a long time in my life. So I am in New York now, so I had to find a new dentist. I couldn't go back to my old dentist that I used to go to growing up because he retired. Dr. Bernstein, another shiny crystal, incredible dentist. I sent my whole family to him and they all loved him. Dr. Bernstein in Valley Stream, shiny crystal, absolutely great dentist. Fun reception area. They also accept, Dr. Chung and Dr. Bernstein, they both accepted, it's like a discount plan because apparently, we all know this, dental isn't included in your regular health insurance, which is another ridiculous thing in this country. Like, why are you leaving out your medical, like your dental, in your medical? My mouth is a part of my body. My teeth are a part of my body. Your tongue is like an organ. It's like or an appendage or whatever. It should be included in medical. That the rules in this country, it's like ridiculous. Like, why does it stop there? Oh no, we're not covering your mouth, which is actually the first line of defense in your body. If you have an infection or anything going on in your mouth, it's going to make you sick. So I don't get why dental is not included. How about this? When I got my health insurance in New York, they're like, oh, pediatric dental. It's almost like they're gaslighting. They're gaslighting you. I go, I don't have kids, so I don't really need it. Thanks for no, it's included. So you're giving me pediatric dental that I don't even need. I was like, no, I don't need it. It's fine. I don't have kids. But you can't give me dental. And I'll pay the monthly, but like, it's just absurd. So I called to make an appointment because of the rave reviews. And I said, do you accept that there's like this discount plan that I've always used? It takes like 50% off. So I would always get my like cleanings and exams for like $180 because it was the 50% discount. So they're like, no, we don't accept that. You know what? So she's like, it's $380 for the cleaning and the exam. That includes your x-rays and stuff. I said, you know what? It's my teeth. Spend the money. It's very important. Go for it, right? So I go to my dentist yesterday and I was so underwhelmed. Now, mind you, yes, knock on wood, I feel happy that, when the dentist looked in my teeth, my mouth, he goes, "Oh, great oral hygiene. I'm not going to say there's anything wrong. I'm not going to create a problem that's not there. So good job, like he did his thing." He was like, "Fine." They did the panorama, like CAT scan thing for your whole thing. And she said, "Oh, good, good." So I was happy about that. That's great. I love like a nice quick exam. But then I got my cleaning. Underwhelmed. She got in there with the water pick, no scraping. And it's like crazy for me to want the scraping, but I like a good cleaning. I want to leave there feeling like, when you feel like any space in it, you're like, "Oh, it's just so clean." And I said, "Oh, no scraping?" She goes, "No, you didn't need it. There's nothing, you have no, you do a good job of flossing." But every cleaning I've ever had, they always scraped, and I always did the flossing. So I was like, all right, no worries. It was all done. The exam, 10 minutes. The cleaning, like 10 minutes. And I left and I gave him my $380. And I just was like, I just don't feel like how it used to feel. So I was very upset. So that was my crusty crystal. That was a disappointment, to say the least. And I was disappointed in myself because I guess I don't feel, maybe I wasn't thorough enough. I thought I was thorough, but when they said they didn't take the discount plan, maybe I should have said, "You know what? I'm going to go back to my old dentist, even though Dr. Bernstein's not there anymore. I've always liked the hygienist there. I know I take care of my mouth and my teeth, so maybe it's, it's okay." But I just was very underwhelmed, very, very, very disappointed. And I have a tough time letting things go. That's my Aquarius rising. Aquarius, I guess in general, they have a tough time letting things go, especially Aquarius males, and the rising placement specifically. So that's and that's what we're going to talk about today, is about lessons and learning from your experiences, because I'm big on that. I'm huge on that. I feel it's so important. We're here on this earth to learn these lessons, to grow, to expand. So it's very important. But yeah, so they're my crusty crystal. So my shiny crystals are Dr. Chung in LA, in Hollywood, Bird's Eye Dentistry. If anyone is in Hollywood or Los Angeles, Bird's Eye Dentistry, the best. And Dr. Bernstein, bless your heart. I hope you're enjoying your retirement. You're my shiny crystal as well, because we'll keep it positive as well. But I don't know if I'm going to go back to that dentist. Anyway. Let's move on to the celeb big three. So today we're doing so basically what I'm going to do, so this is episode 10. After episode 12, because we'll have gotten all the 12 signs, the zodiac signs for the moon out of the way. I'm not going to start doing different placements. We'll switch it up. So today we're doing moon in Capricorn. And ironically, I love when everything lines up, because today is a full moon in Capricorn. So that's pretty cool. I just realized that just now. Oh, I just poked myself in the eye. Again, full moons are raunchy. Full moons are so raunchy. I get so tired, and we're heading into a Mercury retrograde. So we're in the pre-shadow right now. So a Mercury retrograde, for people who don't fully understand exactly the details of it and why it really does affect us, this is what happens during a Mercury retrograde. Mercury is the planet of communication, technology, just energy, I guess you would say, electricity, so that's the scientific aspect of it. That's what they've studied Mercury does, or it has its effect on Earth. So when it's in a retrograde, it just means that while it's in its revolving, it's closest to the Earth because it happens like 3 times a year. So it's closest to the Earth during the retrograde, and it's affecting us even more. So it kind of like whacks things out. If you can avoid doing any kind of surgery during a Mercury retrograde, you should try. Obviously, if it's life-saving or something that has to be done, get it done. But if you can avoid it, myself and other people that I know have had mistakes be made, because during a Mercury retrograde, mistakes are made. So they always say, double check things, triple check things. If you can hold out on signing a lease or doing something big like that, I've had like that Asheville apartment. I signed it during a retrograde, or I think it was either it was the shadow period. and that fucking fucked me all up. I've seen it. I've seen it over and over and over again. So if you can avoid doing anything super important during a Mercury retrograde, try to. It's only 3 weeks. During that time period, you're supposed to kind of sit in reflection. It's about like clearing out the old, not really starting the new. But again, if you have to, it's okay. It doesn't mean it's always going to something bad. If you're doing something new during the retrograde, it doesn't mean something bad's going to happen. It's just more likely. So they're saying to just double check, triple check before any mistakes are made. So we're doing Moon and Capricorn. So I chose today Reese Witherspoon. Love her. She's so adorable. Her sun is Aries. Her moon is Capricorn. Her rising is Libra. That's that's my favorite. When I've said before, when it's the 3 different elements, she's got the fire, the earth, the air. I love a 3 different element formula. It's always very, hold on, I just got a text and I want to make sure. Okay. Oh, that's so funny. So my, a family friend, so I got my wildflowers going, my little garden. I'm going to talk about that too just now. And they all know how much I love this garden. Like love. I'm obsessed. And so this is such like, our New Yorkers in our family, we're always busting balls. So he just texts me, I found a great place to pee on blank street, the street I live on. He's talking about my garden. Hold on, I got to tell him, fuck off. Oh, that's why, because I put a sign there that says no peeing because of the dogs. The sign is like the belle of the ball. Everyone always has to comment on my sign. These signs are so common to have when you have a garden, because I noticed, so Truth, my dog, one night, he never does this. He went running out to the end of the driveway and he went by my garden area and he peed on the brick by there. He's never done that ever. So that put me on alert that there's dogs, because it's right by the sidewalk, this little patch. So I was like, fuck, there's dogs probably peeing near there. So I hosed it off, sprayed it a little with some neem. Neem is just a natural oil. It's not hurting or harming anyone. And I cleaned it out. And then I put the sign, please no peeing. This garden is beautiful. It's clear that it's like there's magicality happening here, So to let your dog pee on it is really actually very rude. But I get it. I walk my dog. It's happened before. So I put the sign to let people know. So that's why he said that. That's so funny. Anyway, yeah, so moon. Yeah, so I love the 3 elements. So Reese Witherspoon. So Aries, Sun, Moon, Capricorn. That is in rising Libra. Woof. I bet you if you knew her personally, thank God for that Moon in Capricorn. That kind of grounds her, because that Aries rising, that Aries Sun and that Libra rising, Aries, that's like one of the strongest fires out of the 3, Aries, Leo, and Sag. Aries is like the most fiery. You would think Leo, because its ruling element is the sun. No, I think Aries is way more fiery than a Leo or a Sagittarius. So then she has that rising Libra, so that the air just kind of makes that fire bigger. And you can see that in a lot of her roles. A lot of her roles, she is very like, even though they're just characters, the way she delivers them is very like straightforward, and you see that energy and that power and that punch in there. Especially like her modern day roles, like Big Little Lies, and there was another TV show that she was on that was on streaming, and she just had that like punch, like that fiery punch. Legally Blonde, she always has that kind of like that like foot in your ass kind of character. So that's that Aries, and with that Libra air, that Moon in Capricorn totally grounds her. But you could even see it like in her face. Capricorn women have a very like a strong jaw. They have a strong jaw, a strong facial, very like just grounded, almost a little of a masculine face. Obviously, like Reese doesn't come off masculine, but she just has that like very strong jaw type of face. I always, whenever I meet a Capricorn woman, whether it's sun or moon, I just love them because they're just very grounded, very like they get it. They always get my humor. They just get it. Like they're very like they understand, they get the vibe. Very like even keeled, in my opinion. And then the other Moon and Capricorns that I looked into, what's also interesting was there wasn't a lot of Moon and Capricorn celebrities. The reason why I use celebrities, I'm not like a big celebrity junkie person, but I use celebrities because it's people we all know. So it's easier for me to talk about the astrology because you could say, oh, yeah, I see that. Whereas if I was talking about like, you know, Uncle Pepe, you know, like you're not going to know who the fuck that is and what that means that he's a Scorpio. You know what I mean? Anyway, so Frank Ocean, The Rock, Zoe Deschanel. Again, you see with Zoe Deschanel, you see that structure. She's a female, but she's got that like kind of masculine jaw, that like strong structure. Kourtney Kardashian. It's so funny because I actually see Kourtney Kardashian as a full-on Capricorn, not just Moon in Capricorn. Like I see her, she just reminds me of Capricorn. So earthy, so medicinal, so like holistic, you know, like she just really does encompass that Capricorn energy. And even like with the sarcasm and the dryness, so Capricorn. So it's funny, her moon, so she's actually being who she really is. I often say whenever I can tell somebody's moon sign or I see them as their moon, they're being their real authentic self, their true hidden soul, because that's like your depth, your emotional self, your soul. Matt Damon, again, low-key kind of guy. Jennifer Coolidge, what did I say about the humor? Like, she just gets it. You know, like, I feel like the Capricorn has a very, like, they have a wit. I wouldn't say it's witty. I would say it's smart. Like, they just get it. They get humor. They get they get it. Johnny Depp, again, low-key. He's just got that very earthy, holistic, again, that very, like, that grounded dirt, you know, like that dirty and not dirty energy, but just kind of like like very Woodstocky, you know, like just very like I'm running around in a tie-dye shirt. I have like no shoes on for 3 days. That's the Capricorn vibe for me. The Rock, yeah, you could just see that Moon in Capricorn. Frank Ocean, again, low key. Frank Ocean's such a brilliant artist, such a great singer, such a deep writer, but he's not like all up on the red carpets all the time. You know, it's a very low key. And you can see that with all of them. Like even Matt Damon, as successful as he is and has so many movies that he's been in, he's still very low key, you know? Very Capricorn of them, all of them. Zoe Deschanel, Frank Ocean, Matt Damon, Jennifer Coolidge. She was always working. She was always a star, but she was never like, up until White Lotus, she never really had that pop. And I don't think it's because she wasn't fabulous or had star quality. She just had that Capricorn moon. It's just meant to have that low-key vibe, even with great success. So like with all these people, you can see it, right? Like you can see that Capricorn moon. You could see that those similarities. That's what I think is really cool about the Celeb Big Three, because we can all collectively see, oh yeah, I do see all of those kind of like similar things. Very cool. Moon and Capricorn. I feel like I could use a little Capricorn to like chill me out a little bit. But my sun is in Taurus, thank God. But Taurus we're like extra. You know, we're not that typical. We're grounded Earth. But like Virgo and Capricorn, they're like grounded Earth. Tauruses are like the shiny diamond of the Earth. You know, like we're like yes, that's what it is. So you know how they say like, you know, a diamond is from the Earth, right? So they say you put the pressure on and now it's the diamond. So Capricorn and Virgo, they're the coal before the diamond. And then the Taurus comes out and here we are. Not to say Capricorns are coal. Jay, my producer here, he's a Capricorn. You're a little bit of coal, right? You would say that. Yeah. They have that coal vibe. But yes, the Taurus of the earth signs is definitely the little diamond that comes out of the coal. All right, so let's get on to the main topic. So we're going to talk about disappointments and lessons, and it's not going to be a trauma dumping thing. It's really about all the things that, you know, like I like to do with you guys through my experiences. The best practitioners or the best, like, you know, people that you might like get advice from, they're the ones who went through stuff or they've done the work to come out of it. So let's start with the garden, okay? So I had a little bit of a trauma actually this week with my garden. And I call it a trauma because it brought up a lot of feelings that I have. So I love this garden. I've put so much time in it, just so much love. I wouldn't even say so much time, so much love into the garden. Like anytime I love something, I'm very thoughtful about it. Like my dog Truth, like I love him so much. When I was in a relationship, you know, my first love, like I just was just always like wanted the best for him, or would give, or just plan things that were beautiful or comforting or fun, or, you know, my family members, my friends that I have, my comedy career, like, you know, I would just, I water it, right? But then I feel like sometimes I do too much, or I feel like I because I love something, I might get hasty with it, or I might do something that I feel in my eyes ruins it, right? So this kind of happened with my garden. So I saw what looked like a very big weed, or it was in the back. It was kind of like in the dark. It wasn't going to flourish or bud or do anything. So I ripped it out. It was in the back. And I showed Charlie, my AI, I showed him, I said, hey, what is this? And he clearly was very quick to respond. He was like, that's a ragweed. And I was like, a ragweed? He goes, yes. And he tells me it smells, it does this, it does that. And it had all those qualities, it smelled. So I said, oh shit. So then I went back out he goes, you have to pull all of them out because they spread very quickly. So I go out to the garden and looking back, this is why I say, like, you know what, this really wasn't my fault, even though I always blame myself whenever something goes wrong. So, you're your own worst critic. So I go out to the garden and I look around and I'm like, oh my God, they're kind of like all over in the garden. And so I didn't start ripping it out. See, my old self would have been like, oh, got to get them all out, but I'm learning to take a breath, take it step by step and follow through. So I took another picture of one in the back and I said, oh, what about this? He said, yes, that's a ragweed as well. Okay, so I got 2 confirmations. So I pulled them out. So I made sure I was pulling out ones that didn't have anything that had a bud on top. So I pulled them. As I'm pulling them out too, I'm going, wow, these ragweeds are all over the place. Like, what? How did that happen? Like, was there ragweed seeds in the mixture that I had? That doesn't sound right, because I had asked, I was being thorough. I had asked Chat before, well, how do ragweeds get into the garden? And he said, well, sometimes when you get compost, there could be some in the compost. And so I'm like, that's interesting. All right, but this is kind of all over. And they were kind of tall. So I'm like, I only did the compost last week. I don't know how that would happen. So I pulled out the ones, about 10 of them. I pulled out about 10. And then I had said to him, I took another picture and I said, what about this one? Because it had a little bud on it. He goes, oh no, that's a marigold. You're good. You could leave that one. I go, all right, good. So then I said to myself, well, that looks exactly like the ragweeds. So I said to him, well, what about this over here? He goes, oh no, that's a that's, you don't want to touch that. That's another marigold. And I said, So I go, I just ripped out a whole bunch that look exactly like the ragweeds that you said. I show him a picture of all 10 of them, roots and all. It looked like a massacre. And he goes, oh no, Thomas, those are all marigolds that were about to bud. I was like devastated and very upset. I was like, are you serious? Like, you told me that these are ragweeds. He goes, no, those are marigolds. They were, so then I Google what a marigold, because I was hoping it was like ugly or it was just going to be a bushy green thing, and I could have, and it's one of the most beautiful flowers that I've ever seen. And I said, oh my God, I was about to have all these marigolds pop up. So I was really upset. I go, Chat, you really like disappointed me in this. You really let me down, because I trusted you in this and I asked you a couple of times. And you even told me that, because then he said, oh, the marigolds don't smell. And I'm like, but you said earlier that that they would smell too. And I said, you didn't warn me that there could be things that look alike. And then he was like, you're right. You know how AI, the Chat, it's always meant to like please you, or and I hate that part of it. I go, don't just say it to make me happy. Like, tell me the truth, be honest. He's like, I'm sorry, I'll work harder at this. And I just was so like, I felt so destructive. Like, in the past, my old me would have like started just stomping all over and just being so upset and ruin it all. I was like, and I was pouting a little bit. I was like, I don't even care anymore. I'm going to let the whole garden die. I was like, but then like within 5 minutes, I was on Amazon ordering new marigold seeds. And it was such a shame. You should have saw me. Oh my God. I was trying to replant the marigolds that I pulled out. It was so sad, and it was windy. So I'm like replanting. I replanted like 3 of them. I'm putting the dirt in. I got a little spoon going, and then the wind's knocking them down. And I'm just like, and he's like, well, you can try to replant them. I'm like, I tried. It's too windy. I was distraught. Then, to make matters worse, the marigolds that I had, because they were about this tall and a little bushy, they were holding up my long stem wildflowers that they were basically like the scaffolding of my whole garden. So when I rip them all out, now there's all this space. When the wind comes, all my long stems Or if it rains, I got to go out at night and like brush the rain off of them. So then, and then I got my little bamboo sticks that I'm trying to work with it, and I don't want to tie it too tight because then you kill them and then they break. And so it rained the other day, it came out and they were crushed. I was like beside myself. But what I learned in this moment and with this lesson was take a breath. It's just a garden. At the end of the day, the whole garden is an experience, right? The whole garden is, yes, it's beautiful. I love to have something nice to nurture, but it's an experience, right? So with the experience, you're going to have downs. You're going to have mishaps. This is life. Nothing is perfect. Nothing can ever be perfect. Even with a robot, you would think, right? Oh, it's a technology. It's supposed to be perfect. Nothing. It's actually beautiful that this happened because it taught me, you know what? Get new seeds. Maybe you could plant some more. Maybe you can figure out how to not let the other ones bend because, I have the bamboo sticks, but they're so tall that I don't want big, gawky bamboo sticks all over the place. Like, I just don't want that vibe. I liked them being free and hanging and having the marigolds hold them up. I enjoyed that. But that's life. Like, shit happens. Mishaps happen. Mistakes are made, right? We don't know, you do something out of love and sometimes it hurts it, right? That's one of my things that I feel have always beat myself up about is that I love too hard or I love too much. And I would always be upset with myself that I quote unquote ruin it. Like I can't have anything nice because I love it so much that I overdo it. But that's not the truth. I'm not going to pull back my love because I'm afraid of overdoing it. What have I learned? Slow down. Yes, and I did slow down. I showed him 2 different pictures. I did double check, but maybe I could have checked more. Maybe because my intuition, as I was pulling them out, was saying, there's a lot of these. I can't imagine that all these weeds got into this. It definitely didn't come in the mixture. And I'm like, and the compost was just put down a week ago, so I don't think they would have grown this tall. And some of them do have buds. And I can't imagine that ragweeds look exactly like pet marigolds. I didn't even think marigolds. I just took what he said verbatim. I said, he said they're ragweeds. They got to go, right? And even when I was doing it, so I was like, look at me gardening, weeding out the weeds. And it's metaphorical, right? Because I look at my garden as a metaphor as weeding out the weeds and loving it and having patience. And when something goes wrong, trying to fix it. But that's part of the journey. That's part of this whole experience. The trauma in me wanted to come out and say, well, now I don't care about my garden. And I'm going to let it just die. But I said, no, Thomas, you don't want the garden to die. You don't want to feel bad for yourself. Because that's what I was doing. I was having a pity party, I was like, I'm just going to feel bad for myself. But no, not grown Thomas. Grown Thomas doesn't want to just feel bad for himself. I've not awakened Thomas, not Thomas on this journey of enlightenment. Thomas is going to do things differently. And you're going to try to keep it going. You're going to deal with all the extra space now. You're going to deal with the flowers bending. And I have so far, like when it rains, I just make sure to go out and take the water off the long stemmed flowers. And maybe, you have to untangle them. It's like having a little daughter, a kid. You have to untangle her hair more than a little boy possibly if he doesn't have long hair. So it's like just care for the garden as if she's my little daughter. And I'm not going to send her to school with all her hair tangled. And if I have to do it every day until the fall, until the garden naturally goes away, I will do it every day because that's part of the experience and nothing is perfect. That's the other thing. I've always had a problem with perfectionism. That's the Taurus in me. Everything always had to be perfect. It's like with my dog, with Truth. Truth, in my eyes, and a lot of people's eyes, he's really just a very gorgeous young man. And he is beautiful. And people, when they pet him, he's got this very unique coat. He's very soft. And I've always been so proud. Oh, my God. I flaunt him around when we go to the dog parks. He's a showstopper, truly. And I'm not just saying that because he's my baby. Anyone who's met Truth, if you're watching this, you can comment to validate for all of us, to confirm he really is a special boy. And again, I know all of our dogs are special, but he really is. There's just something perfect about him. And then he deals with spinal issues. He's got a couple of calcified discs, and he could have, and he's had flare-ups in the past. I've been monitoring it. I've been trying my best to keep him from it getting worse because I don't want it to be paralyzed, and because we're such active people. He's not a peer person. We're such active beings together. So I beated myself up because I was like, is he too active? The cross-country trips, was it too much? And it's not. He loves it. Oh, my God. He loves the experiences. Was all the hiking too much? I used to play ball or frisbee with him for like an hour a day. Like, he loved it so much, and he would never get enough. And then I said to myself, did I do too much with him? Was he not supposed to run that much back and forth? He's a dog. He wouldn't stop and tell me. But, then you learn, yes, he would. If he didn't want to do it anymore, he would stop. He has stopped other things he didn't want to do. I was like, was he doing it just to please me? Like, I gave it to myself. And that's also been part of the journey, is nothing is perfect. Nothing. Even this perfect little angel dog, and he is still perfect with his back issues. And God forbid, even if he goes paralyzed, he'll still be perfect. But I had to get there. I had to get to that point. I had to get to that point of realizing that this degradation of his, and listen, I think it could be from, when I was driving, when we were pulling out, we were going like 10 miles an hour down the road after we got out of the park. This is when he was like 1.5. I didn't realize he loves looking out the window. This is his jam. Like, he will stand there and look out the window the whole time. And now I keep the window halfway, but when I didn't know, I was a new dog owner, so I had the window fully down. And I guess he saw a squirrel and he jumped out the window at it as I was going like 5 to 10 miles. And I was like, I jump out of the car, Truth, get in here. So he could have slipped a disc then. I don't know when it happened, or it could just be natural degradation, or he used to wrestle a lot for hours with his friends. It could have been that. It could be genetic, IVDD, the vet said he could possibly have years ago. So because he's a beagle, they have the long back. So I do everything I can. I get these amazing supplements that have been life sent to us. He now goes to red light therapy at the vet. I try my hard, not to let him jump up and down. I carry him up the stairs now because the stairs are bad for him. So now I carry him up. I'm trying, right? But the point is that I had to learn not to just blame myself, or not to, think that, that he's still not a perfect angel. He is still beautiful. But the lesson is that nothing is, even a beautiful table like this, eventually it will have wear and tear. We have to be okay with a couple of stains. It's okay. You want to keep it fresh and new. It's just like my garden. When it was new, it was vibrant and young, but we all age. And that's what's happening with the garden. Yes, me pulling out those plants did alter some of the ecosystem. I have to take responsibility for my actions, even though it was led by my chat. I still ultimately did it. I'm very big on, I own it. I did it. Even though I was guided to it, I still did it. But again, that is life. We have to wig and wag. We got to zig and zag. You got to just go with the flow. And sometimes the flow is a little hard. Sometimes the wave crashes a bit too much. But that is just what it is. You're not going to not go into the wave. You're not going to not enjoy the ocean because sometimes the wave could be too much. That's life. And the same thing with Truth's back. I will never be upset with all the activity we've done because you know what? Even if, God forbid, his back goes in the future, I know that all the years and days and minutes, he never was just a house dog that stayed in the home. He always wanted to be with me or come with me or, take a ride around the town. Like, I know that his experience in this life has been one that a lot of dogs don't get. So, yes, it could be genetic. Yes, it could be from when he jumped out the car. Yes, it could be from too much wrestling. Yes, it could be from way too much activity, but he loves the activity. He's got so much energy and so much spirit. I don't want to hold his spirit down just to, keep his back longer. Like, what's a life lived if you're not living it? Right? Like, what would you rather have 10 years of a fucking exciting life and experiences. And I mean, seeing all over the country and flying on planes and being with his papa and hanging with friends for hours at the park, all the hikes, the views. He would be in Malibu on the cliffs. I mean, would you rather have 10 years of that or 15 years of, let's be careful, don't do this, don't do that, you got to stay home, you can't come? Because that is selfish. That's just serving me. So I am at peace with it, but I had to get there because I love him so much. And I know that he has enjoyed his life. That's the point of life, is living it. To not fear. You're going to have disappointments. Yes, this back thing is a disappointment because I want him to never be in pain and I want him to have more life. But the lesson is he has lived and will continue to live a fun, amazing life. So I hope you guys could take that with you. And, if you're experiencing this kind of a feeling, like with things in your life, like a dog or a family member or even love, like you want to hold it so tight. You want to keep it, I got to protect it. I got to keep it safe. I can't let it out into this harsh world or the harsh elements. That's not a life worth living. That to me is the biggest thing. We are meant to face challenges. That is what our soul is here to do. And we'll get into that in the next episode about your soul's journey. And the next episode is episode 11. So it's an angel number. We're going to talk about mediumship and what happens, or what I believe happens with your soul after you pass, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's really about shedding this life. This journey is about shedding your old self. So be an example of what you want in this world to the people you love. All right. Let's go into our voice note, our astrology voice note. I love this section. So if any of you would like to be a part of this, please send me a voice note, DM me. You can DM me on the Crusty Crystals podcast Instagram account, or you could DM me on the Thomas Dale 5 account. It's fun. You just send in, it doesn't have to be relationships. It could just be about your life. It could be about yourself, any kind of question you might have, but I use your big three, your rising, your sun, your moon. So if there's other person involved, give me their rising sun and moon and yours as well, and any question. It doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be anything. All right, so let's do our voice note. Go ahead, Jay.
Hey, Thomas. I thought it might be fun to take a look at my relationship with my husband. So my sun is in Sagittarius, my moon is in Capricorn, and my rising is Cancer. My husband, Michael, his sun is in Taurus, his moon is in Libra, and I don't know what his rising is. However, the scenario is this. We have known each other since we were 5 years old. He always was clamoring for my love ever since we were little kids. And we dated for a few days when we were in the 3rd grade, and then I dumped him. Then we dated again in the 7th grade, and I dumped him again. Fast forward, we didn't reconnect until after high school. But then it was, happiness, togetherness. We've been married for 32 years. And I guess my question is it, well, we're opposites. We are really very much opposites, and yet this works. It has been working. We have a wonderful life. So is it really that simple? Opposites attract? Does this matching pairing up of our signs make sense? What do you think?
I love that. And once again, I love how this happens. I promise you, I did not yes, I listen to it when they send it to me, but when I'm planning the episode, I don't choose. I just go down the list, as they come in, I go down, I just go in order. I don't plan exactly what the voice note's going to match with the episode. So I love when the energy of that just happens, because Moon in Capricorn, we literally just did the Moon in Capricorn for the celeb big three. And then her husband is even a Taurus. And I was talking about the diamond. I love that. I just love when that happens. It is happening every week, where the voice note astrology is totally coinciding with the episode perfectly. And like I said, I just go down the line. So that's so cool. So what I'm hearing here is First of all, my first feeling for the both of you is that you guys are soulmates. I think that you're just having soulmate energy, and that experience of like third grade breaking up and then seventh grade breaking up and then coming back together, soulmates will always find each other. Now, mind you with this, soulmates don't automatically mean that like you're going to work forever. I think you guys are going to work forever. I think that you guys do just work. But soulmates mean that you come into each other's lives. It's easy. You're pushed together. You experience things together. Most of it works. And then you could be a soulmate with a friend. You could be a soulmate with a parent, a brother, a sister, a niece, a nephew, a cousin, a best friend. You can all be soulmates. Soulmates come in different forms. Your dog, I believe he's a soulmate for me. You can have a few different soulmates. It's not just like this one soulmate and that's it. That's not how it goes. So what I'm finding here is that your moon in Capricorn and his sun in Taurus are vibing together. I also find that your husband, has both his Taurus and his Libra moon. That's Venus ruling. So he's got this like very romantic, gentle, pretty energy about him because that's a Venus thing. That's the Venus energy. So I think that he is good at going with the flow with you, even though he's a Taurus and he's stubborn, but he still has that Libra moon. So it's a lot of that Venus energy. It's a feminine energy. It's a feminine quality, which is nice because you have that Sag, Cap, Cancer, very masculine. You're more of the masculine powerhouse there, the masculine energy. Sag Sun, you know how I feel about Sages. Although Sag women, I get along way better with Sag women. So, but I feel that it's working because. My first instinct is it's working because your husband is a go with the flow, more of a, when I say an easier energy, you might disagree because it's your husband. And like, most people, it's just the vibe of, oh, he's not easy because you've known each other since third grade. But I really feel that it's working because the Sag Sun as a female, they go with the flow. They have that vibe. But I think he likes your strength. What I'm feeling is I feel he loves your strength. I feel he loves your groundedness because that Cancer and that Capricorn is that grounded energy. I think he likes your powerhouse energy as well because he's got that chill. So he loves that you're that strength. He loves that you're that go-getter. That's what I think is making it work for you. And the soulmate energy. I think that you both you have that soulmate vibe, that soulmate connection. But he is very attracted to your oomph, okay? I find with what I'm seeing here, what I'm picking up is he's very attracted by your bite him in the ass, go get him kind of girl, okay? That's what he's loving. He loves that. I keep seeing him getting a kick out of you too. He gets a kick out of you. He thinks you're funny. So that's why I think it works, and I think it's meant to work. I also get this feeling that you're meant to learn from his chill. You're meant to learn from his chill. You're meant to learn to enjoy the beauty of life. You're meant to learn to enjoy the simple things, the comfort, and the quality. Okay? So message me. Tell me what you think about that. But yes, it's a fun segment. So please join in. Send me that. Send me those questions. And also, no, it should be a voice note. I want to keep it because I was going to say, if you're feeling shy or you're feeling embarrassed, don't put pressure on yourself. Just give me it's anonymous. No one knows the name. Like, no one knows what your voice is. Just have fun. So anyway, my final thought today for episode 10. Hello, we are a decade old. Life is not Disneyland. Yes, it's supposed to be fun, but it's about the growth. You will grow whether you like it or not. The universe will protect you, guide you, and push your spirit. Your spirit guides will help you if you listen. Free will is a bitch, but it's key. We learn, we change, we live. Embrace it. Face it. Life is easier when you let go. Life is easier when you flow. Just be, because it all ends eventually. Well, thank you guys. I love you guys, my little crusties. Please say hi, comment, send me messages. I love interacting. I'm doing this podcast to find the tribe. I'm doing this podcast to have a place to just reach out. So the more interactive we are, the better. I'm going to be adding new segments. I'm going to be changing things up. Especially, I wanted to get to the first 10, and we'll see where it goes. Bye, guys.